Welcome to the BuyUAE podcast, where we help Australian investors cut through the noise and make confident decisions with clarity in one of the world's fastest moving property markets. I'm your host, Muneeb, co-founder of BuyUAE. Essentially, we created this platform to help Aussie investors take their first step with clarity and confidence and make smarter investment decisions. Today, I'm joined by Ahmed, a real estate broker from Sydney, now practicing in Dubai, and Mosaab, who has deep experience across the UAE and runs his own agency with a particular focus on Sharjah. Together, we unpack everything from population growth, supply constraints, legal structures, and strategies smart investors are using to navigate these markets. So Ahmed, you're now based in Dubai, but started off in Sydney. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Thank you so much for having me on the podcast as well. It's good to be here. I born and raised in Sydney, Australia, worked in a combination of finance for the majority of my career with some of the major banks and also in the fintech space, and always had a passion for property. We obviously know each other for a long time, property has been a big part of my life, my family's life, since I was little, and then kind of took the opportunity to jump into the property market full time, worked in real estate in Australia, closely with, direct clients and even developers as well. And then there was just this calling towards this market. Obviously, I've got some kind of family here, like my wife's family is based here. So I was always frequently visiting here. So became very familiar with the market and then thought, let's see where this opportunity takes us. And I haven't looked back since.
Fantastic. And Mosaab, you've been involved in the UAE market for quite some time. Can you tell us how you got started in this space?
So basically, when I came to the UAE, the first thing I ever do is only working in real estate. So real estate was a passion, to be honest. That's something that I really love to do. And my main focus was the Sharjah market, because until today, I believe that it's a gold mine, that it's a hidden gold mine. People are not really aware about what is happening there. So the main focus and what made me do all of this is basically that we want to show the people what is the Emirate have, how many things that they are providing, what is the new investment that's happening. And basically, I created an agency. And from that agency, we are able to showcase of people how they're making money, how much they're making, what is happening in the Sharjah Emirate. We're focusing also on building a system where we can show the actual data of the buyer and the consumer that are buying on a daily basis from us and what kind of returns they are having. So yes, this is what we are doing right now.
All right, now that we've got some context, let's jump into some numbers. In Australia, over the next 15 years, our population is forecast to grow by 15% from roughly 27 million to 32 million. Now, contrast that to the UAE and in particular Dubai, where under the Master Plan 2040, the population is forecasted to more than double from 3.3 million to a staggering 7.8 million. So Ahmed, when you hear these sorts of numbers, are they actually realistic? Can the population really double by 2040?
Yeah, really good question. And I think in context with Australia, like we're used to seeing a slower, much more thought out or kind of steadier growth kind of plan. I think a lot of it has to do with kind of the way the government, what government's in play and what their goals are as well. So when we look at specifically Dubai, for those who haven't been to Dubai yet, I would struggle to find a situation where they haven't set their minds to a particular goal and not delivered on it. Initially, you look at like what they want to do with tourism. They have now become that tourism hub of the Middle East. People come here, they're blown away by what they've achieved already in such a short time frame. Dubai and the UAE as a whole, when they set their mind to something, they are all for it, they're all in. Now, you've got areas already well developed within Dubai, such as downtown, Marina, Jumeirah. All these areas are well established, but there's still so much land. The goals of 2040, in my opinion, very easily achievable with the developers that are in play, with the plans of, the new villa communities and the new high rises that are in play as well. You've got Dubai South with the new airport coming in there, which will just, completely change the infrastructure of what can Dubai actually support of inflow of business as well. But you've got Palm Jebel Ali, You've got the other developments around Dubai South. You've got, the future plans for Maidan and District 1. These areas are all very kind of going to be very exciting new projects. And then you look at Dubai Islands, you look at the plans for Maritime City as well that links up Dera and and Burj Dubai and all those kind of things. So in my opinion, they've got a very clear goal of what they want to achieve in 2040. I think it's very achievable. Business here, it doesn't stop. There's constantly business happening. There's constantly new developments in the play. And, you've already got the infrastructure in play. You've already got the roads there that are ready to take on that inflow of more of the increased population, and as well as the rail system that'll be linked up to it as well.
Okay, so I guess what you're saying is Dubai is more structured around like a central planning authority, right? With the government and the UAE having a very different sort of government model. But even with that, do you think those numbers are realistic? Like, I mean, I guess demand is one side, supply is another side. Like, so for example, in Australia, there's constant labor shortages, with housing materials and whatnot. So do you think that the government has sort of factored for those things and they're not going to be hit by the same constraints in other markets that we experience?
Yeah, look, I think that Dubai is always open for business, right? They don't want to be in a position where they're going to restrict themselves from that. So you look at the new visa opportunities for people. You can have your permanent residency visa here, you get your gold visa, and then even for labor shortages that you mentioned, if there ever was to be, a shortage of labor coming into Dubai or the UAE, the government has a plan of how they can incentivize those workers to come into the country and benefit as well.
Mosaab, other parts of the UAE just don't attract the same headlines. The population for Sharjah is roughly 2 million at the moment. What's driving growth in these types of markets?
So basically what is happening in Sharjah, for the previous reports that we saw for the UAE government, that Sharjah was ranked as the fastest growth market in the UAE. Now it's not the biggest, but it is the fast growth because of the new law that came for the freehold ownership. So the main factor that affected the market is that before 2022 November, we didn't have a freehold law in Sharjah. So after that, when it was open to all nationalities, it attracted multiple developers to come. And the market of Sharjah is a little bit different than other Emirates market. So Sharjah market is a little bit more controlled market, where all the developers, that it's trusted developers, it's brands, they had delivered a couple of projects before. And at the same time, the government is always supporting all the project, and it's supporting by either being a partner in that project or by supplying the plot for them, supply and monitor the whole process for the buyers to be safe always. So I think the key factors is making the market grow is basically the government support and the new law that happened in the Sharjah market.
I guess for our audience that may not be familiar with that freeload, can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah, for sure. So in the UAE, there is two kind of ownership. There is a leasehold where you own the property for 99 years and then you can renew that contract. And then there is the freehold where you own the property and the plot that it is built on forever, and you can you are the owner of the plot and the property, and you have all the right to do whatever you want in that property forever.
Makes sense. I mean, even I guess some of the stories that I've heard anecdotally and growing up, the story was don't buy in the UAE or don't buy in the Middle East because it'll be a 99-year lease, right? You'll never own that property. So it sounds like that has changed in Sharjah and across numerous markets. And I'm sure you've probably got this as a common question from a number of the buyers that you deal with, right? They're just not aware that the rules have now actually changed across the broader Middle East, and you can actually own property directly.
Yeah, absolutely. And it links into that kind of plan for 2040, right? Like across all the Emirates, these are some of the things that they're doing to encourage more people to invest here, encourage more people to move here. Historically, that was very common in Dubai as well. It was all leasehold. You've still got parts of Dubai that are leasehold, and it's about being aware of that. But it is definitely the fact that there's freehold property now. You can buy, you own the property, you get the title, that's yours. So you've got that kind of sense of security, knowing they're actually buying the block. Yeah.
We've just talked through some staggering population growth numbers, But let's be real. The UAE is not on the radar for most Aussie investors. We get so focused on our local markets that we don't consider there are other global markets growing at a faster pace. Let's talk about that disconnect and how Aussie investors are thinking or not thinking about this part of the world. So Ahmed, you work with Aussie investors on a daily basis. Are most of them entering the market with a clear plan, or are they just dipping their toe in the water?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And yeah, correct. Like I deal with Australian buyers every day. I was fortunate enough kind of through my previous career, like my network was a mixture of finance and finance brokers and then also real estate kind of clients as well. So I think the biggest hesitation for Australian buyers is just purely, do they know someone here? And do they trust someone here that's going to guide them the right way? That's definitely been worked in my favor and it's been beneficial for me to be able to give people that confidence and walk them through the process. Australians they don't like to be pushed into a deal, whether it's, at JB Hi-Fi or, in property especially. These are people's biggest assets and people do take their time. And it's very different to how people do business here, whether they're European or from a Russian background or Chinese background or even like local Emiratis here. They just want deals to be done. There's not many questions. It's very quick. So a lot of my Australian clients have been surprised with how quick the transactions have happened here. So in that respect, it's giving people the comfort, allowing them to trust the process and filling in any gaps. There's a big advantage for people to invest here, get the foot into the property market and take advantage of the returns that this market is seeing.
And do you find when you're positioning the UAE as an investment market, it's the first time these clients or, these contacts have heard about this as an option, or have they, have they been aware of it for a while? And as you sort of said, just not had a personal connection that's given them that comfort to really consider it?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have just seen the fairy tale advertisements of Dubai, right? And yes, that's all good and well, but again, it's a foreign country they're investing in and they want that peace of mind. A lot of the clients that I've been dealing with, it's their first time dealing with the property market here. And, a lot of them do say that these numbers are ridiculous. Like, how are these numbers happening? And it's purely because there's that much growth happening across the UAE. And it's a great time. Like, a lot of people have asked me to have already missed the boat. No, you haven't missed the boat. There's so much here that's happening, a lot of growth to come. Across all the Emirates, and it's just about finding the right opportunity. And I would strongly suggest, speak to a broker. Speak to a broker, because not all the deals that you see on the social media ads and that kind of stuff are the right deals. It's about finding out, what are you looking to do? Is it purely to invest short term, or is it long term? Is it to build some wealth and just flip property on completion and those kind of things? Once you have that kind of conversation with a broker, it's about being presented with the right opportunity to then execute on.
Yeah, I think the key element that you sort of said there is trust, right?
Correct.
Because a lot of the time you see brokers fly in to Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and they're there for like a day, 2 days, and it's a pressure cooker environment, right? And as you said, Aussies don't like to be put in that position where they're sort of being pushed into making a decision. So it seems like it's an education process, but an education process that needs to come from a trusted source, right? And I guess that's where yourself and other brokers that we're sort of seeing here from an Australian background are able to sort of really connect with the Aussie buyer and help them sort of, cross that barrier.
Yeah, correct. I've already seen and spoken to Australian buyers who have unfortunately gone through a bad experience, right? Look, unfortunately, they are happening. I would strongly encourage, don't let that ruin the experience for you to invest the right way here. Speak to people, and you've got plenty of options of brokers such as myself. You've got Mosaab. Like, there's people who are reputable in the industry that you can speak to, find out exactly. And we do our due diligence back home. We, when we're looking to buy a property, we make sure it's the right area. We want to make sure it's in the right schools and all that kind of stuff. And they're more for the long-term investments. My Australian clients have been more short-term investment. They're looking to make a good profit on and off-plan purchase that they can sell very easily on completion, and potentially do it on another project, or potentially take the money back home and then invest it. It's a good way for them to get ahead and make some good profit. So trust is a very important part of And I think if the broker is driven the wrong way, then unfortunately, I don't think the experience is going to be great. If the broker is working for your best interest, that's the type of broker you need to hold on to.
Mosaab, from your side of the fence, do you think international investors are missing the boat on markets like Abu Dhabi and Sharjah? What are they underestimating, and what's getting lost in translation because the UAE is not top of mind?
Yes, absolutely. So, Munib, let me tell you one thing. So, all the people, not only Australian people, I can say, like all the people internationally wise, they are missing the opportunity if they're not investing in the coming, let's say, 2 years in the Sharjah market or in Abu Dhabi market, because Dubai is one of the greatest city in the world. But right now, unfortunately, the entry ticket is not that much low anymore. So if you want to enter with a low ticket kind of an affordable pricing housing, then Sharjah and Abu Dhabi is the place to start with. And it's a very safe investment, I can say. And I can tell you because what is happening right now, people are not really aware of how much people are actually making from investing in Sharjah Emirate, for example. People are able to make 100, 200% ROI from only flipping the property because of the payment plan, that it is very low payment plan. So initially, all you need to pay is, let's say, 20%, and then you can actually resell, or up to 30%, and then you can resell. So that's the main reason of people making a lot of money. And when it is a startup market, I can say, so any new thing that gonna come to that market is gonna affect the price in a very big way. So that's the best part. You're entering to an empty area right now. So whenever there's a new thing happening in Sharjah, it's affecting the real estate market in a very positive way. And the government is not going on the way of opening every day a new project. They're doing it in a different way, where they only targeting the very branded developers, well-known, trusted. They know the quality, that it's going to be good. They're going to deliver on time. So they are bringing those developers to the Sharjah Emirate. And Abu Dhabi have a bright future with their also real estate. Nobody actually know that the luxury real estate, let's talk about Abu Dhabi, is really low in the price comparing to Dubai, let's say, by the same brands, by the same developers. And it has some amazing areas over there. So yeah, in the coming years, Sharjah and Abu Dhabi will have the spotlight, I can say.
Okay, no, that's a great point. I mean, I'd like to dissect that a little bit further. So definitely Abu Dhabi and Sharjah have a lower entry price. In terms of the behavior you see from clients, in particular international clients, are they more playing this flipping game where they're sort of identifying good projects early on with the help of brokers such as yourself, and then they're more likely to flip? Or is it more buy and hold? Like, I mean, is there distinct behavior between, let's say, what we would term an international buyer versus, let's say, a local buyer or a regional buyer?
Actually, we do those research in our agency. So basically, after doing a couple of research on our client database, so we noticed that most of the international clients will prefer to keep the property based on our advice, to be honest, because we tell people like Sharjah market, yes, you're going to make a good money on a short-term period where you can actually flip the property and make good profit. But the thing is, as well, when you're investing 20-30%, it's very attractive that you're making 100% within very short time. But the thing is, if you keep that property, and this is what we notice, and we have the data and the numbers to show, so basically some properties has been sold 3-4 times after the handover, and every time the appreciation happened more and more. So always we advise people to hold on the property because it's a startup market. Anything will affect in a positive way. So give it some time, wait on it, and it will give you a better returns for sure.
So we've talked about demand, but let's talk about the other side of the equation. In Australia, housing supply is notoriously behind, whereas the UAE has a reputation for moving very quickly. Mosaab, from what you're seeing in Sharjah this time round, are developers being more disciplined than previous cycles? And what role is regulation playing in that? And in particular, can you speak to the requirement to keep client funds in escrow?
So basically, I'm going to talk about the Sharjah market, to be honest. So Sharjah market, basically, if we're talking about the demand and the supply from the developer side towards the needs of the people, as you mentioned, for investors and end users. So basically, let's talk about point number one, where demand and supply in the Sharjah market is not matching at all. So the demand is much higher than the supply that is happening in the market. Because if we talk today about Sharjah market, we have around 7 projects that it is for townhouses and villa. And we have over 700,000 people living in Sharjah. So if we're talking about a percentage-wise, it's a very low percentage comparing to how many people are actually living there. So that's why you will see now in the news about projects in Sharjah being sold in 1-2 hours. It's not about because people are now just going crazy after the trend, no, but because the demand and supply is actually not matching, which is hopefully they do more projects because we need it. And talking about also the price point of view, how the developer, the target of those new development that is happening, let's say. So then the target is basically both end user and investors. When it comes to any master plan community, there is those units that are gonna fit the investment, the flipping, depending on the culture of the emirate itself. This is why you need a professional broker who has been in the market for a long time, who have the data, who know the culture of the emirate, who knows how things actually go, how people think, where is the demand on those property for investor. For end user, it's a different case by case, to be honest. Like every person is different. So we try to focus on their own taste and try to choose the property based on that. But developers are building both of the properties that can fit both purposes, I can say.
Sure. And I mean, how are developers actually keeping up? Because those numbers are staggering, right? Like, so in terms of supply, like, how are they actually keeping pace with this record demand? I mean, are you seeing that they're moving too fast, and as a result, there are now issues with some of the new projects that are going up in terms of, defects in the building? So how is quality maintained? I know they've got escrow and, funds need to be retained in escrow until you get to certain completion points.
Correct.
But are you seeing any gaps, where developers are now sort of skipping some, trying to cut some corners?
To be honest, no, because also all the projects that it is in Sharjah, basically, you can say up to 95% of them have a partnership with the government. So the government basically is a partner inside the project. So when it is like this, it means the government is monitoring the whole construction phase. If there is any problem, and this is we witnessed not in one, in multiple projects in Sharjah. So phase number 1 being delivered, and then other phases are being delivered as well. Okay, so let's say phase number 1 got done. People lived in it. So people had feedback as well. So let's say they had a problem in the kind of tire they used inside this townhouse or this apartment, or the materials from inside. So whenever this feedback reached to the developer in phase number 2, 3, 4, you will see a whole different finishing, a whole different things that are gonna match with that feedback. And this is happening in multiple projects in Sharjah. So I can say that developers are acting fast based on if there is something, let's say, not going as planned or anything. And I can say for Sharjah, it's a little bit different than Dubai. So I can say that developers are being too slow, to be honest. Like, we need more projects. We need to build new phases, because now the minimum waiting time is 2 to 3 years to get a property in Sharjah, because all of the near to be ready is fully done and sold.
Ahmed, we hear these constant stories of towers launching and selling out in Dubai very quickly, but is supply actually keeping up with demand?
I think to your question just now with Mosaab, like how quickly some of these developments are happening, is there a concern of quality and all that kind of stuff? The fact is that developers don't want to cut corners because they're held accountable, not just to the buyer, but to the government, right? They want to get access to their funds that are sitting in escrow, so they can start their next project, right? Funds from escrow won't be released to the developer until the project has been delivered to the right quality. There aren't any issues with it. So their priority is to do everything right from day dot, deliver on time. A project might go slightly over, but they're motivated to finish on time. So that's the biggest kind of difference that I saw comparing to the Australian market and here. And the fact that construction here is 24/7, right? You've got your construction that's happening during the day, and then there's also works happening in the evening to make sure that there aren't delays.
And having worked across Australia and Dubai, how would you compare those markets?
So to the second point, look, there's some great projects back home. They're good quality finishes. They may take 2 years, 3 years at times for those projects to finish, but their price point is also quite high in comparison to what the average Australian purchase, right? So they're very high end, they're very unique projects. Not everyone can afford them. Everyone loves to see a good quality finish, right? What I've seen here in Dubai, you've got a very kind of open scope of what type of project you can buy into, depending on your price point, depending on your budget as well. So yes, you can go for, an entry level kind of development. So the expectation there is that it's not going to be high end, beachfront, that kind of stuff. And you pay for what you get, but there's still a good quality finish at the end. And then you get, your other end of the market as well. In my opinion, still very affordable for the Australian buyer. You look at Sharjah, you look at Dubai, you look at Abu Dhabi, there are price points within all those markets that an Australian buyer could get into and be very comfortable with the quality of work. I've got Australian buyers that are coming to Dubai just to see kind of the progress of their project as well. And again, that's the beauty of it. Like, that when a project starts here in the UAE, the developer has shown evidence. They've got funds sitting in escrow before they're allowed to even start that development. And again, they meet their milestones during that project, and that then releases funds for the next phase to start as well. So it's an interesting market. It's a very dynamic market. And they've got big, obviously, goals ahead to try and achieve. In regards to what I've seen comparing Australia and Dubai, I'm blown away by what Dubai is delivering. And caught up with Mosaab, obviously, in Sharjah. Like, it's very interesting that the Emirates have been able to achieve what they've achieved in such a short time, but they're so ambitious to deliver more.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. And just one other thing, how does that escrow process differ to what happens back at home?
Yeah. So I was surprised I didn't know this until I got here. So developers here, before they start a project, they've got to show financial capability to complete a project or even start that project. So they've got to show funds sitting in escrow, right? For a project to get approved and started. Again, they through the bank or wherever the funds are held, there's a government-appointed official that monitors the release of funds there. And then even people that are buying off plan, yes, like off plan properties do go very quickly, but off plan people are paying their deposits into a separate escrow account. So again, the developer isn't touching, let's say myself, you and Mosaab have purchased off plan, we're depositing into a separate escrow account. The developer is not touching that. And again, funds are released on completion. So again, the motivation for them to finish on time.
Let's talk about fit. Who should be investing in the UAE and who should be investing in Australia, and why? Dubai is attracting a lot of global capital at the moment, but who is it really suited for? Growth-conscious investor, a yield seeker, or a balance of both?
It's a really good question. Let me tackle this from kind of very broadly first. Who should be investing in Dubai and who should be looking at it? From what I've seen, like we've all seen the stats, like Dubai has attracted the most millionaires into the market. And yes, it can accommodate those individuals, whether they're coming from Europe and they're escaping kind of tax laws there or whatever. But Dubai provides the perfect balance, in my opinion, of East and West, right? People that have lived in Australia could come to Dubai and have the same comforts, visit the same pubs, go to the same parks, enjoy the beaches, do a normal Australian lifestyle here in Dubai. And then also see the balance of the Middle Eastern culture as well, right? The laws here, yes, they're firm, but they're not firm to the point where people can't live. You've got more expats in Dubai than there are locals, and they've done that in order to accommodate and attract more people to come here. And the types of people that should be investing, whether you're semi-retired and you just want a different lifestyle, Dubai has that fit. If you're looking to enter the property market and you just can't break it into the Australian market, yeah, Dubai has that fit for them as well. So I would say from your very high-end income earners to your entry-level individuals, there is a fit in Dubai for you to start getting into the market, start earning some and generating some good wealth. And again, it's just exploring it the right way, speaking to the right people, myself, Mosaab, you guys, giving them that information that they need to know to make a calculated decision, right? We don't make rash decisions when it comes to property, even back home in Australia. Again, do the same thing here. When it's not smart to just jump into it blindfolded and think, oh, if I have a bad result, it's everyone else's fault. Like, we do the right thing, we calculate, make the right calculations, and we go from there.
Interesting. Yeah. So what I'm hearing from that is lots of markets within markets, sub-markets, and depending on, the person's personal circumstances, whether they're priced out of Australia or looking for global diversification, there should be, a property here that would fit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whether it's Dubai's price point is a little bit higher. It might be Sharjah. It might be Abu Dhabi. But yeah, there's so many good options here.
Sharjah is still under the radar. Who is that market suited for today? And how do you see that buyer profile evolving in the future?
So what is happening right now in Sharjah, we started to witness that a lot of people start moving out of Dubai and living in Sharjah and working at Dubai at the same time. Now, it always has been like this, but right now the numbers are increasing day by day. And I think it is because of the cost of lifestyle, I can say. So for end user, when people are coming to live in Sharjah, it is because of two reasons. Reason number one is the culture that Sharjah Emirate have, that it is laser focused for the families. Number two is, I can say, the affordability of your lifestyle. So when it comes to school, grocery, anything you can name, you can find it a little bit cheaper than any other emirate, and at the same time at the same standard. So you're not getting a lower quality standard, you're getting the same standard, but the cost is much lower. So for end user, this is why people right now are moving a little bit out. Not all, for sure. There will be always those people who will always love Dubai lifestyle, and there will be those people who will love Sharjah lifestyle. For investor point of view, I think who's entering right now the Sharjah market is the people who are aware of the history of the UAE. So now they are understanding, okay, that Sharjah is doing this. This is the data. This is the news that's happening. It's growing really fast. It's giving returns. So people understand that when you have those news, then this market is really growing and you have an opportunity. And who knows the history of the UAE will always jump on those opportunities because he knows that this is the new place that I can make more money now in. So I think investors, this is the people we're targeting right now. We're trying also to make a lot of new awareness for international people to understand what is happening there, how much they can make. And I can say we're mostly targeting people who are looking in a budget of 1 up to 5 million dirham. If you have above 5 million dirham, then I can say like Dubai market is an amazing place to start with, because investing in 5 up to 15, 20, maybe more million dirham, then Dubai is the place for sure, because the luxury price of a property in Dubai is much, much, much cheaper than any international market, I can say, when it comes to luxury properties, not the normal affordable or standard properties. So when it comes to affordable standard, I would say in Sharjah you will get the best quality you can get with the value of the money that you're paying, with a very easy payment plan and family-friendly environment. So yeah, this is what I can say about this.
Sure. So I guess in Australian dollar terms, that's roughly 400,000 to 2 million. And I mean, what you're saying does make a lot of sense, right? Like Sharjah in proximity is actually closer to downtown Dubai and Business Bay than, let's say, the Palm area. So correct. As the infrastructure builds, you would, assume more people move out there. So I guess what I'm also hearing is that you do think that the global investor or the foreigner will look at Sharjah, right? Just based on proximity and also price point, because as Dubai comes with a higher ticket price, there'll naturally be people who are not able to afford to sort of live in Dubai or invest in Dubai. And with the ambitious growth targets, you would assume that Sharjah would get a lot of the, the benefit of that population influx.
Yes, correct, totally. So what is happening as well, we're starting to witness right now that people are very smart in the UAE, and the government is one of the best governments that it is there. So what they are doing is whenever that Dubai did something and then it works, so other Emirates will learn as well, will try to do it. So that's why Sharjah market was one of the fastest. So they're doing everything in the correct way. They're not having a lot of mistake because they are learning from the other Emirates, from the environment itself that we have been living in, from everything that happened before. So I think this is also based on consumer behavior as well. It can be applied that also the investors who did invest in Dubai and they tried what kind of investment you can actually do in UAE, or the people who internationally came to the UAE and saw the new development and the new things happening and hearing about it in social media and in everywhere. Now they are knowing that the Sharjah market have a very bright opportunity to start with because it's a startup market, and as well as the government is doing multiple authorities that are attracting international buyers from outside. They're doing multiple campaigns that are showing what is happening in the Sharjah market, and hopefully soon that we will have a platform same as of Dubai where we can show the actual data and number. Now it's only based on our data and number that it came from our client database we're doing, and we're providing to all our international buyers so they feel that they are safe. So also this is a thing that you need to take in consideration, that if you are international, you're buying, try to go to one of the biggest companies in the Emirate itself and try to take the data there, because they will provide you with numbers that will help you to make the right decision.
Now let's bring all of this together. If I handed each one of you $500,000 today, which markets would you invest it in and why?
So basically, if I have this amount and I want to start my investment in the UAE, the first project that I will choose in the Sharjah Emirate, I can say because I'm a Sharjah person, to be honest. So what is happening is they are building a new downtown in Sharjah, where it is a 24 million square feet area plot. So it have all the kind of hotels that you can name, the biggest mall in the Sharjah Emirate, a medical city, a business district, and the whole area is being developed around it. So when you see that much of things happening in one area, it's kind of a guarantee investment. And we know who's the developer, the history of it and everything. So I would invest there, and you can get approximately a 3-bedroom apartment at that price or a 2-bedroom apartment at that price. And with the payment plan that it is only 3565, you can either flip it. But for myself, I would keep the property for sure, because especially when you're buying in a mega project, it's not like a small building or 1-2 buildings that are being built. It's a 24 million square feet area plot that it is the new downtown. So the more that you hold on it, the more appreciation gonna happen. The rental income in that area already tripled since they opened their door. So it have a very bright future. So this is the place that I would put my money in.
That's actually a project I'm familiar with. And is it true that they're building a mall there that's going to be larger than what we currently have in Dubai Mall?
You can say that it's approximately the same size they're gonna come, but what is special about that mall, it is gonna be designed by Zaha Hadid office. So it's one of the most famous architecture around the world, and all the project that she ever did was a piece of art. So that's the main point that gonna make a little bit different in that mall than other malls.
Okay, thank you. That's very
You're
interesting.
most welcome. Yes.
Now to you, Ahmed, where would you put that money to work?
It's a tough question. Look, I would most likely look at either an off-plan project in one of the apartments kind of closer, either in Meydan or closer to Business Bay downtown area. The price point is a little bit higher in the villa communities that are happening, so we would rule them out. Or the second option would be looking at something that's close to completion, right? Whether it's 12 months away and it's possibly being handed back to developers. See if you can purchase that. There's a couple of scenarios I've recently come across where that's happened. Again, short-term investment. That price point works for either a studio or a 1-bed, but the rental returns are incredible if you're in those areas. And again,
what sort of yields are we talking in terms of?
So I'll give you a perfect example of a client that I've got at the moment. 1-bedroom in Business Bay. He's had it for a long time. It's on the market for sale for about 1.2, but he's generating over 130,000 a year on short-term rental for that.
Wow.
So, you're talking what, about
Just over
11,
10%,
just
yeah.
over about
Yeah.
almost 11, 12% there. And, you know, those kind of returns are very consistent across, you know, a lot of areas of Dubai. You've got certain pockets that might be smaller, but a little bit less than those kind of returns. But, you know, you're looking on average, correct me if I'm wrong, Mosaab, 7 to 12% in that range.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, the benefit is, look, with the off-plan market here in Dubai, the people that can purchase are the ones that have liquid cash, or maybe they own a different property and they can leverage equity from that to purchase. But, you know, as soon as a property is completed and it's ready for handover, you now open the door to a lot of other investors that are looking to purchase, or end users as well, but also the mortgage buyers. So the demand that definitely drives the price up, because you open the market up to a lot more people that can purchase, and you can make a really good return off a short 12-month investment, even if you've missed out the off-plan purchase 2 years back. If there's something that's available and the handover is relatively soon, it's not a bad opportunity to look at.
So whether you're chasing capital appreciation, yield, or looking to diversify outside of Australia, what we've heard today is the UAE is a viable investment option. Smart capital is already here. And the real question for Aussie investors isn't if this market matters, it's when are you going to take it seriously? Unfortunately, we weren't able to cover everything we would have liked in this episode. There are still a few questions lingering around off-plan purchases, payment plans, purchasing via an SMSF, tax implications, and FX management. We'll aim to bring everybody back together to get into some of these lingering questions. So if you're considering investing in the UAE, stay tuned. In the interim, if you would like to learn more about investing in the UAE and purchasing property, please feel free to get in touch with us using the links in the description. We're essentially here to help Aussie investors take their first step with clarity and confidence. We'll also share Ahmed and Mosaab's links in the description. They're well worth following if you want to stay across this space. Thanks for listening to the BuyUAE podcast, and we'll catch you in the next episode.